guys, it's a lot guys. Today we are going to watch foreign foods that are banned in the USA. You know, in India we hear a lot of foods that that these food we are eating, but you know, in USA this might be banned, this and that, because we hear there are very strict regulations in USA. So let's see that if there are Indian food or something that we eat, or it is common with us but you guys don't eat at all. So let's get into the
video.
To state the obvious, Americans love food. And in
same.
the US, you can buy anything imaginable at restaurants, farms, markets, and other stores.
Cheesy.
Well, almost anything. The US Food and Drug Administration has banned many foods from being sold or eaten in the United States for various reasons.
Oh.
So, today we're going to take a
Get
look
a
at some
joy.
foreign foods that are not allowed in the USA. But before we get started, be sure to subscribe to the Weird History Food channel. After that, please leave a comment and let us know what other funky food topics you would like to hear about. Now, let's take an illicit trip on the wild side of food.
haggis.
Haggis.
Scotland
Haggis
is
are
known
We
for
don't
a
know.
number of wonderful things, like Scotch whiskey, bagpipes, and Sean Connery.
Huh?
But it's also known for eating
What's that?
haggis.
Haggis.
Haggis? What is haggis?
Haggis, for those who don't know, is a type of pudding composed of the liver, heart, and lungs of a sheep, mixed with beef and oatmeal, then seasoned with onions, cayenne peppers, and other spices. This mixture is then packed into a sheep's stomach and boiled.
What?
How revolting!
This might not sound
Boil it
appetizing
or
to
what?
everyone, but Scottish people are really into it. In fact, haggis is the national
do you
dish of
eat it?
Scotland.
National
and
dish.
to get it there, it's usually accompanied by turnips and mashed potatoes.
Oh my God.
Americans who
Why?
like haggis, however, are out of luck because haggis is currently banned from being imported into the United States.
Why?
The
That's
U.S. banned all foods that are made from animal lungs in 1971.
Oh,
Wow.
so lungs is
Then,
the problem.
Scotland has made several efforts to influence the U.S. into lifting the ban on haggis and changing federal food safety regulations, but they've come up short each time. Too bad
Oh.
Sean Connery isn't around to ask them.
Beluga caviar.
Sometimes the
It's
U.S.
banned?
bans foods for health
You know
concerns
this
about the
one?
dish itself.
Yes.
But there
It's
are other
very
reasons
costly.
John Q. Law might stop you from enjoying a particular meal. For example, to protect an endangered species. Such is the case with beluga caviar. Caviar is,
Yes.
of course, fish eggs. Beluga caviar comes from
What?
the beluga sturgeon, which is the largest of the sturgeons, weighing more than 2,000 pounds and measuring more than
eggs.
15 feet long. It can take up to 25 years for the female beluga to mature and produce eggs. Beluga caviar varies in color from light to dark gray and is the largest grain caviar. Their pearls are the most delicate and have a mild, buttery flavor. In 2005, however, the United States banned beluga caviar from further import due to overfishing. The U.S. was consuming about 60% of the world's beluga caviar, which
My
is considered
God.
the Rolls-Royce of caviar, due
Rolls-Royce.
to costing $200 per ounce.
$200.
In fact, beluga caviar was so desirable that the available stock
like
declined by
Kesar of
90%.
USA, huh?
Overfishing
It's still
of the
that
beluga
more
has
expensive.
been
Yeah,
traced
more
back to
expensive.
poaching in the black market.
talking about
But that's just
saffron.
academic now. The bottom line is, no beluga caviar for Americans anymore.
Plum? Why
So as
plum?
we've seen, the U.S. might ban a food for being
Why?
unsafe, or because it derives
This
from
is
a
I love
specific
plum.
risk. But there's yet another reason a food might be banned: trading concerns. Take the Mirabelle plum, which is the small, oval-shaped and dark yellow fruit grown on the Mirabelle plum tree.
Okay.
It's sweet and full of flavor,
Yeah.
and is used in fruit preserves and dessert pies. The fruit can mostly be found in France, where 70% of the world's Mirabelle production occurs.
Wow.
The production of the Mirabelle plum has been supported since 1996 by a protected geographical indication to help guarantee its authenticity. The protected origin designation makes it illegal to import or commercially sell the plums in the US. That being said, regular folks can grow them on their own property, as long as you don't try to sell them.
It's because of unpasteurized
Unpasteurized
milk.
Unpasteurized milk, or raw milk, is milk that comes directly from an animal's udder and hasn't been
Oh,
heated
why is it
and
banned?
pasteurized to kill any bacteria.
We drink this
Sounds great,
only.
right?
Oh,
No.
indeed it
Like we
does.
boiled
Well,
it, na,
it may
after
not
that.
be. Raw milk carries a higher risk of being contaminated with harmful bacteria that
Yeah,
causes
we
foodborne
boil it.
illnesses than pasteurized milk does. Children, in particular, are at a higher risk for these diseases because their immune systems have not yet fully developed. The FDA banned the interstate sale or distribution of raw milk in the US, but states are able to adopt their own laws for the sale of raw milk. Given the risk, you might think that states would want to stop people from drinking the stuff, but not so much. In fact, drinking and consuming unpasteurized milk is 100% legal in all 50 states.
Wow.
That being said, only 13 states allow the sale of raw milk in retail stores. Of the other 37, 20 states prohibit the sale of raw milk, and 17 states allow the sale of raw milk on the farm in which it was produced. And at the very least, many of the states that allow the selling of raw milk require a warning label informing consumers about the risk of pathogens that can be found in the milk. There is currently something of a movement in the United States to consume organic and locally grown foods. Some believe that raw milk is more nutritious and provides good bacteria for the body.
I didn't knew all of this.
Sassafras oil is
Sassafras.
extracted from the dried root bark of the sassafras tree. The tree, in case you want to go looking for one, stands anywhere from 20 to 40 feet tall, with slender branches and orange and brown colored bark. The leaves are oval and can grow to 3 to 7 inches long, and the flowers are small and of a greenish or yellow color. Historically speaking, sassafras has played a big role in various cultures around the world. For example, many Native American tribes use it for various medicinal purposes, including to help with acne, urinary disorders, and fevers. It can also be found in Chinese medications to help treat rheumatism and trauma. The twigs from the plant were once used as toothbrushes, and sassafras was also used as an early anesthetic and disinfectant. Not only that, but sassafras was found in many distinct foods in the
Like
US,
this name,
and it was known as a key ingredient in many root beers and teas. Sounds pretty useful, right?
Very useful.
Well, don't start
But why
celebrating just
banned?
yet. The FDA prohibits all sassafras bark, oil, and saffrole as flavorings or food additives. Sassafras is no longer considered safe for human consumption. It was actually banned all the way back in 1979 after research linked it to cancer. Also, when too much sassafras oil is consumed, poisoning could possibly occur.
Oh, ortolan.
The ortolan is a
Wow.
small, colorful bird in the bunting
Why you
family,
want to eat
a
this?
category that also includes American tree sparrows. Once upon a time, in a faraway land called France, the ortolan was a chief ingredient in a highly controversial meal. The recipe called for the bird to be cooked for 8 minutes and
my
served
God,
with a head
please.
attached. The bird was then meant to be eaten whole, including the head and bones. Due to its rarity, the killing and selling of the ortolan was banned in France in the 1990s.
Oh my
but that didn't
God.
stop poachers who continued to catch
Humans.
the small bunting and sell it to local restaurants. In fact, the law was so inconsequential that France's League for the Protection of Birds claimed that the ortolan population dropped 30% even after the ban was enacted. This forced the government to enact more stringent enforcement in 2007. But the killing of the rare bird is less controversial than the barbaric way in which it is killed. It starts with the birds being trapped during their migratory season and kept in covered cages. Since the ortolan eats more at night, covering the cages cruelly tricks them into gorging on grain, even to the point where their bodies double in size. This is a less gruesome variation on an alleged ancient practice in which the bird's eyes would be plucked out, fooling them into thinking it was night so that they would eat more. Either way, once the ortolans are fattened up, they're thrown, still alive mind you, into a vat of Armagnac, which both drowns and marinates them. France now strictly enforces the ban on killing ortolans. In fact, the killing, cooking, or smuggling of the bird anywhere in the European Union or the United States is currently a crime.
This was horrific.
Kazu
I
Marzu,
support this ban.
translated into English,
Kazu
means
Marzu. It's a
rotten
cake
cheese.
or what?
And if that doesn't sound horrible enough to you already, then allow us to point out that it's also known as maggot cheese. Now you're
Maggot
probably
cheese.
thinking something like, okay, it has a disgusting name, but it's just a name, right? Well, this Sardinian cheese is typically soaked in brine, smoked, and then left to ripen in a cheese cellar. So far, so good. But then, cheesemakers set it outside, uncovered, allowing cheesing flies to lay eggs inside it. Eggs hatch into maggots, which start feeding on the cheese. The maggots produce enzymes that promote fermentation and cause fats within the cheese to decompose. The cheese becomes super soft and leaves a burn on the tongue when eaten. Local Sardinians say the cheese is only good when the maggots are still moving.
lot of
If the
better
maggots are
things to eat
dead,
in
then the
this
cheese
world.
has gone bad and is too toxic for consumption. Kazu Marzu is not in compliance with European Union hygienic standards.
My God.
Shark fins.
Movies like 1975's Jaws make it seem like humans have a lot to fear from sharks. But in reality, the reverse is far more true. In fact, finning, the act of cutting off a shark's fin, is one of the greatest threats that sharks face. It's so dangerous because after a shark is finned, it's thrown back in the sea where it may drown, bleed to death, or be eaten by other animals. Fortunately, for those who want to protect the sharks, there is still a large market for shark fins to make shark fin soup, which is a popular and luxurious Asian dish. Shark fins are very popular in Asia and can be found in food stores, pharmacies, and fishing villages. The demand for shark fins has led to sharks being targeted solely for their fins. But don't expect to try that soup in the US anytime soon. The practice of finning is illegal in the United States.
What are people doing?
Ackee appears to be a very delightful and delicious fruit, but appearances can be deceiving. For if the ackee isn't properly eaten, it can cause vomiting or even lead to a coma or death. To do it right, you need to know that the ackee's fruit's protective pod turns red and naturally opens, revealing the edible portion, which is the many yellow aril that surround the toxic black seeds. The ackee fruit is originally native to West Africa, but was brought to Jamaica in 1778. In Jamaica, the harmful effects of ackee fruit are known as Jamaican vomiting sickness, and they're comfortable enough with it to have made it Jamaica's national fruit. The fruit can be tried in Jamaica paired with codfish, which is a popular dish. In the US, however, the FDA banned all ackee, though they later allowed the sale of frozen or canned ackee. The import of fresh ackee is still banned.
Kinder Joy eggs? Why?
The Kinder Surprise egg is a hollow chocolate egg that holds a
obsessed
plastic
with this.
capsule
Yeah,
that contains
why?
the toy. The toy is usually a simple collectible, like
Yeah.
a tiny bike or miniature beach
I love
ball
it.
tail. They are widely popular and are sold across the world, except in the United States. Not that it's hurting them any. In fact, even without the help from US markets, Kinder sells more than 3.5 billion surprise eggs each year. Kinder Surprise eggs have always been illegal in the United States. The 1938 regulation made it illegal to sell any candy that contains a non-nutritive object. Several efforts have been made to import the chocolate egg into the US, but the federal government has continued its ban and recalled the item each time. Luckily for US consumers, Kinder also makes the Joy Egg, which is a more recent version that separates the toy
we
from
know
the chocolate.
this one, Kinder Joy.
The Joy Egg meets FDA regulations and is compliant with the Consumer Product Safety Commission. It's not exactly the
That's
same as the
good.
Kinder Surprise, but it's close enough so the fans across the US can
And this
meet
is
their
Kinder Joy
fix.
is very good.
So what do you think?
I was shocked to see the Kinder Joy version, but then I got to know that okay, it was just Kinder Surprise. Kinder Joy is much different, and Kinder Surprise, I think so, would not have even worked in India too, because it was an egg and inside the egg there was a toy. So that is also, I think so, not allowed in India, because of course you are giving an edible thing and you cannot just put an inedible thing in there. And also like the other thing that was like unskimmed milk, because in India we have seen like a lot of people drink that milk, so it is not banned in India.
Yeah, of course it's not. And even I follow this girl on Instagram. Even she said that we don't boil directly come that milk come from the cow and we just drink it, and it is totally safe. I don't understand. And the most weird thing I found in this video, and like disgusting, I would say, that cheese. Oh my god, yeah, like how, and that guy was eating that, like, is it possible?
Not just the cheese, the bird one also was
Oh,
very
yeah,
disgusting.
bird one.
Also that goat one was like, why would you take the liver out and then another thing out, lungs out, and then you would put into his stomach and then
Yeah.
you will boil that stomach. That Scottish thing should be banned from this universe.
Haggis, that was haggis.
Haggis,
Yeah.
So what do you guys think about it? Do let us know in the comment section below. So do like, share and
Subscribe.
Bye.
Bye.